Ooh, hello, viewers. Welcome to Mystic AF. My name is Keelan Siobhan Clark, and we're here to really look at 21st century leadership and everything that makes mysticism mystical. And today I have a very special guest with me. Her name is Natasha Miller, and she is an author. She is literally birthing her book right now, and I can't wait to tell you guys about it. It's called Be Relentless, which I think is so important to be an entrepreneur. And we're going to talk about a couple other themes that we both hold true to our hearts. And one of those themes is why it's important to share your story with the world. Why now might be a good time to share that memoir. So welcome, Natasha. I'm so glad that you're here.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So can you tell us a little bit about who you are and how you got to be
Yeah,
relentless?
I will start off by saying this. It sounds a little pompous, but I own a profitable multi-million dollar company, an events and entertainment production company in the San Francisco Bay Area. And the reason why I say that like that is because I want to empower other people to just stand up and say, I'm amazing. I did it. Whatever, fill in the blank. Because I think a lot of people, men and women, dumb down or are shy or modest or humble about their achievements. And 2% of women only make $1 million or more in their business. So it's a huge kind of leap into the atmosphere. And I just want to celebrate it. Oh, how did I get there? Oh my God, a lot of scratching and crawling and begging the universe to let me in and continual, relentless pursuance of excellence and success. That's the simple answer.
I love that answer. And I think that sometimes we want to make up a story that in order to have a multi-million dollar company or to be living the life of our dreams, because we were just talking about like where you live on the water in Oakland, sometimes we want it just to like be an easy button. And
there's no easy button.
There's no easy button, right?
Why would you want it to be easy? The value in getting to this point is the getting to this point.
Talk more about that.
Yeah, I mean, really, at this point in my life, I understand that yes, having a big goal and getting there is important, but the most valuable and the most rewarding part are the little steps and the back steps and all of those little points from here to there. That's the experience. And if you don't have that stuff in between, it's not rewarding. You feel completely empty and there's no point.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know that you talk about trauma. So can we weave that in a little bit? Because I think that we all have traumas, right? As we're going through our experience in life. And speak about that a little bit.
Yeah. So trauma for me has really fueled the fire of my success. And I didn't realize until a few years ago that it served me for a certain time, but it was no longer serving me. But I did not believe that I could continue to be successful if I wasn't still stoking that past of the fire from the past. And it was making me crazy. I didn't think that I could be successful if I didn't let those memories spiral around in my head. It's ridiculous, but I can, and I'm doing it. So trauma really played a big part in the catapult of me getting out of where I didn't want to be and into where I wanted to be. If I didn't have the trauma, I may be, and this is not a bad thing, but I may be a wife in Des Moines, Iowa, where I grew up with a few kids, and maybe I'd be concertmaster of the symphony there, which is, I play the violin, and that was my trajectory. And I might just have this nice, sweet, quiet life. I don't have that. I have a little more explosive, fun, live in the West Coast, which is, as we just said, paradise. But if I had to do it all over again, and you hear this from people that have struggled, they were like, I would never change anything. That's not true. I would have preferred to have know the feeling of love, security, and comfort, and be that potentially, small, normal little family in the Midwest. But I appreciate where I'm at now.
Yeah, and I think that there's something to be said about sharing the trauma and the having the balls is what's coming to me right now to authentically share so that it actually can serve other people, right?
You know what? I'm 51 as of last weekend or something, or the weekend before.
Happy belated birthday. Wish her happy birthday, you guys. Flip the comments.
It wasn't until a couple of years ago that I was ready to tell the story, not just tell the story because not many people knew, but tell it in the way that I'm telling it in my book now. And I just got out of the recording studio. I finished today. It took 2 days to record it. And I remember thinking, oh my God, this poor engineer director. I'm like, okay, brace yourself. We're going into some deep waters here. And he was like, oh, I can handle it. And then afterward, he was like, whoa, I'm really sorry that happened. I was like, if I need to get you into therapy, just let me know.
I think that I love that he actually acknowledged it because I think a lot of times people will just pretend they didn't hear. So, what's one of the lessons that you learned while sharing your experiences in your book?
Yeah, the lessons that I've learned as people have been reading it to write endorsements or advanced reader team and such like that. Hold on. I've realized that this book is going to impact more people in a bigger way than I realized when I started writing it, when I was writing it in the middle, and when I was done. I didn't know. And what it's doing is giving people permission to talk about their own story.
Yeah, and I'm all about that permission. I'm like, every single one of our stories is unique. It has the potential to heal because there's always a moment where you're like, okay, I'm gonna let that go. Like I've learned from it, right? And then we have I don't know, like when I read other people's stories, even just speaking to you, there's medicine there. There's medicine in the airwaves.
Yes, I think people realize that they can talk about their past and their stories. I do want to say, though, that there is a time and place to do it. And depending on who you are, what path, what part of the path you are in recovery, where you are in your professional life, and where you want to go, there is a right and not so right time to do it, in my opinion. And I think you have to be in an evolved place in your life, like at and you can look back and you can appreciate why some of the things happen to you, right? You have to be empathetic to a certain point, not just, God damn it, that person was horrible to me. Because when you're sharing this, your true feelings are really coming out. And if you're 23 years old, you can certainly write your memoir. You can start writing. But I think that might be just a little too early to be like pushing out, this is what I've learned from life, and you too can learn from this. I mean, some people have lived many lifetimes by the time they're 23. But in general, once you get to about 35 and beyond, you really have the experience where you can really help other people with your story. And it may not jeopardize you or your career or where you want to go.
Well, I think that I love that. And I think it's a level of forgiveness, right? Like, where are you in forgiving yourself, those
Right.
other people, and this level of responsibility? Am I responsible enough to be able to share this story from a place of neutrality and empowerment as opposed to the victim piece? Because if we perpetuate the victim in our stories, we're very, as humans, susceptible. We love the shame. We love like
Yes.
that lower vibration, which which is what makes it dramatic, right? So I love that. I agree. And a
There's
23-year-old could have gone through that
yeah,
forgiveness and stuff, but you know, for the
yeah,
most part.
it's pretty early in life to be able to understand, to that point. But one of the things that I was trying to, oh gosh, I think I lost it. Oh, yes. So years ago, I had thought that I would write my memoir. And of course, when people are like being horrible to you, and you're like, well, I'm going to write my memoir and I'm going to get you. That is not the time to do it. No, 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 no. I can say that I wrote this book and that all the people that wronged me, none of them do I want to get vindication from, or none of them do I want to hurt. I don't want to hurt anyone. And that's a good place to be. Now, will some of them be hurt when they read it? Maybe. Will some of them go, oh shit, I didn't know I did that. I don't know. I didn't know I impacted her in that way. Maybe. But I changed a lot of names, right, to protect them and to protect myself. But I am not out to get anyone. And when you're at that point, you know, it's getting to the right spot.
I have construction going on upstairs, so if you hear banging, just to let you know. So if someone wants to write their memoir, where is a great place for them to start?
Well, hopefully, if you want to write your memoir, you've done some journaling already. Because when you write your memoir, if you're not a professional writer that does this all day long and studied writing, you tend to write, like I did at the beginning, in essay form. And that's fine. That's a good place to start. So I'm actually teaching a course because now I've like immersed myself in publishing and writing your story. And I'm helping people write the story of their life or their memoir. And I have a whole system and process for it. Before I started writing, I didn't have a system or process. So what I'm teaching now, I'm very excited about because it simplifies the process. It doesn't simplify your story. It doesn't simplify the ease of like spilling your guts, but it is a way to get you going and keep going and understand a framework and timeline and why you should do it, how you should do it, how you should market it, how much time it will take, like the whole thing.
I love it. And how can people find out about this course? Because I think that there's some people out there who would love to learn about it.
Yes.
And your book.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so the book is called Relentless, Homeless Teen to Achieving the Entrepreneur Dream. And you can go to my website, officialnatashamiller.com, and click on book, which will have the whole book order page. And if you buy a certain amount, I honestly can't remember, you get certain bonuses, which will flow you into the course. And hold on, this is so cool. I just got this. I've created a guide that goes with the course that I had printed because I'm so fancy, but it's a beautiful book.
I love that.
It literally walks you through like every grueling step. It is not easy, but it is so worth it.
Yeah, I mean, nothing in life is, I mean, there's some things that are easy, but especially when we're going into, the shadow work and the healing of writing our stories, I don't think it's supposed to be easy, just like what we said in the beginning. I think that it gets to be a hero's journey of courage. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I'm so excited for your book release. When does it come out?
March 22nd.
Yeah, that is exactly a month before my wedding date, which is such a lucky, lucky day. And then you also have, do you want to talk about your team a little bit?
Yeah,
We'll
so
share
if
that link.
you are watching this and you're like, oh, I've got to read that book now, this is an opportunity to join my advanced reader team. And when you join this advanced reader team, you get access to a bunch of really cool things that we put together. Some people call them bonuses. We can just call them bonuses for this moment. And so I'm looking at the screen now because I didn't realize the URL was this, but it's advanced-reader dot therelentlessbook.com. And hopefully that will work. If it doesn't, just email me at natasha@officialnatashamiller.com.
Well, that didn't work. But I'll get all the links and we'll share them in here. I don't know what happened there.
Things are breaking like rocks over here.
I know. So today's been one of those days where like things are just like boop. But we'll get you the links, guys, and I love your team. I love that you're such a stand for your story because it's vulnerable, and it's vulnerable to really talk about what happened, especially where there's people out there that could make up their stories. And I think that one of the benefits of being a leader is really being able to stand in our neutrality and in our authenticity. So thank you for being that leader. It's inspiring AF.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. Anything else you want to share before we wrap up?
Wow. I mean, in parting, no, just I hope that I inspire and impact the people that read the book or that just watch this live. And you seem to be quite an inspiration. And I'm inspired by your levity, your smiles. I mean, your husband to be is up there like cranking away at a construction situation.
Yeah.
You don't have to deal with, and you're just going for it. And that's what you have to do. You are relentless.
Yeah. Thank you, Natasha. I appreciate that. And I really appreciate you coming on the show. And let's have you back after your book release or right around it so that, we can see how it's going and what kind of support our community can provide you. Cool?
Okay.
All right. Gang, thank you for joining as always. Please give Natasha some love in the chat. Give her a couple comments of what your biggest takeaways were and look out for her book. We'll see you soon. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.